We've got the legendary Raw, and we're having a good time with Smackdown. The rosters are set. It's time for the WWE Figure Draft 2020. You can see Smackdown's and Raw's roster has come together. We're going to change things up. I'm not going to change a lot, but there's going to be key significant changes. Starting with the women, I'm going to take Mickie James. Now, she's a veteran, but Natalya fills that role on Raw. So I'm going to take Mickie and put her on SmackDown. I'm then going to take Lacey Evans and put her on Raw. Give her some fresh faces to punch. Why not? I'm also going to put Zelina Vega, who's just split with Andrade and Angel Garza, onto SmackDown. Now that just makes sense. It gives her something new to do in WWE. And for the women, that's all I'm going to do. But one big change. I'm going to take Drew McIntyre. I'm going to put Paul Heyman on Raw. And I'm going to put Roman Reigns on Raw. Drew McIntyre will go to Friday Night SmackDown. We're changing the World Championships of both shows. Completely changing both shows immediately. Drew versus The Fiend. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Roman versus Orton. Roman versus Seth Rollins. There's some good matches for Roman to have on Mondays. And I just think just totally changing up the main event scene would be cool. We've made a big space because I'm calling up the Undisputed Era. Of course, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong. All four of them. Imagine Adam Cole versus Roman Reigns. What about Keith Lee in the background there versus Roman Reigns as well? Really big matches are starting to form on Monday nights now. But we do have a space now on SmackDown. And who are we going to put there? How about a new tag team from NXT? How about Killian Dane and Drake Maverick? I know they've only just come together. They're not a legit tag team. But let's see what they can do on SmackDown. Because we've got some good superstars here. But we're going to take Sheamus and put him over on Raw. Because I think Killian Dane is a big guy. Sheamus is a big guy. Let's put him over on Raw as well. Let's give him something new to do. Since returning, he's always been on SmackDown. But we're also going to take Mustafa Ali back from Raw all the way to SmackDown. Let's bring back the hacker gimmick because this is what I want to do. I want that to happen. And now let's take the original bro, Matt Riddle, from SmackDown to Raw. Why? Obvious. Raw Underground. It's literally the perfect environment for Matt Riddle to show off his unique ability. Let's do it. But now we have the space on Friday nights. Let's bring someone else up. The Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is unlike anyone else on WWE's entire roster. Put in Pete Dunne on Friday nights. Imagine AJ Styles or Hardy. That would be cool. Let's also put Aleister Black over to SmackDown because I think there's some great matches for him. Maybe Aleister Black versus The Fiend. Or how about Aleister Black versus Jeff Hardy? Aleister Black versus Cesaro. There's some cool matches for Black on Fridays. Let's do it. Give him that opportunity to shine. Even Pete Dunne would be really, really cool versus Black. But I do feel like Raw's missing something now we've taken Mustafa Ali. So we're going to take Chad Gable from SmackDown. We're leaving the Shorty G gimmick behind completely. And we're putting Chad on Monday Night Raw. It's just something for him to do. Maybe he shines. We'll see. He can have some okay matches with people on the roster. Why not? You can hopefully start to see these big matches starting to unfold. These big rivalries. But let's use the draft to bring back Ronda Rousey. She's not currently signed anywhere in WWE, so we believe. So let's draft her to one of the shows. Let's put her on Monday Night Raw, and let's announce that at the draft. That would be huge breaking news in WWE. So let's do that during the draft, and then let's put someone it seems obvious is going to change brands. Braun Strowman from SmackDown to Raw. Of course, Raw Underground. You got that big man again. You could have Braun versus Keith Lee. Braun versus Lashley. Braun versus Roman. There's lots of opportunities there for Braun Strowman. Let's do that. And as you can see, the rosters are still big. We've called up some really big names, but we got to put some in NXT. So I choose Bo Dallas if he's not the mystery guy in NXT, Billy Kay, and Kevin Owens, because I think they need some star power. And I don't feel like WWE's treated Owens right recently. Let's move him to NXT. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is Elias. Now, Elias hasn't been on Smackdown for months since he was run over by a car. I assume he's going to be coming back soon. Let's say Elias goes to Monday Night Raw. Why? It's obvious. He performs songs. If you have him sing a song like once every 3 or 4 weeks, it fills time on a 3-hour show. Now, we got to take Drew Gulak, because I believe Drew Gulak's going to be moving over to Raw. I think that's been obvious with the whole 24/7 title thing. So let's move him over now, because I'm pretty confident that's going to happen. Also, just a random thought, let's take Lars Sullivan from SmackDown and put him on Raw as well, because then we get another big man to join Braun, Lashley, Keith Lee, Roman, and we got another big man who we can hype up in the draft as returning very shortly. I do believe Lars is training again, so it won't be that far away from his return. Now, SmackDown needs someone else, so let's bring up someone else from 205 Live this time. Let's bring up Arya Daivari. This guy's good. He's got something, so let's put him on SmackDown. It's a land of opportunity. Let's see what he can do. And there's some, again, he fits in perfectly with some of those other names on the roster. Hopefully he can excel and highlight himself. But there's still the space in front of Arya Daivari and Pete Dunne that we need to fill. So how about Johnny Gargano from NXT? I feel like it's time. He's been in NXT for so long. Let's bring him up again. Gargano versus AJ, Hardy, Aleister Black, Pete Dunne. There's a really big names going on SmackDown, but you haven't taken away anything big from Raw. You've got these big men, these big matches that you can really build to. That seems really, really cool. We've left the Hurt Business on Monday nights. Of course, we put Matt Riddle and Braun Strowman over there. You still got Rude and Ziggler. You got the new Undisputed Era. You pretty much saved every single tag team on every single show, so they're not going anywhere. That seems pretty cool. Because both the men's and the women's tag divisions, I don't feel like they can actually afford to lose anyone. We've shaken up both big main event scenes, and we've given both shows a good roster that hopefully they could run with. Now, I gotta tell you, it's been doing this all freaking video. You don't know how long it's taken me to record this, so I'm literally enjoying pushing them over right now, genuinely. Peace! Nah, there's one more. One more pick. Raw's Randy Orton to go to Friday Night SmackDown, because obviously I want to see Orton versus The Fiend. Now, this is a dream match. Orton is the biggest feud for The Fiend, but what about Edge? We all know Edge is going to return eventually. We can't leave him on Raw, but if you check WWE.com, he actually belongs here. He's not a Raw superstar. He's a legend. So you can still do Edge versus Orton, but you also get Orton versus The Fiend. How cool is that? Now, I know someone will ask me about Retribution, so I'll fill it in here. Of course, they don't have figures, so we can't put them in the rings. But I don't think Retribution will be changing brands at all. Retribution have just came to the WWE, and they've been sort of seconded to Raw, if you will. They haven't been appearing on SmackDown, so I don't think they're going to be split up. I think it's stupid if they do that. Probably will be by this point. But I don't think they will. I think they will continue to stay on Monday Night Raw, and I hope that they actually start picking up. Of course, if you got the big men like Keith Lee and like Braun Strowman and Lars Sullivan, and they can take out those big men, you instantly get Retribution over as a credible threat. It will be really cool to see them big guys collide in the main event scene on Monday nights. And hopefully you guys can see what we did here. I didn't want to take away from SmackDown and give to Raw to help Raw, and then leave SmackDown lacking star power. Instead, change things up at the top, change the world champions, leave tag teams alone, for Christ's sake, WWE. You've been doing that far too much. Let's leave tag teams alone, bring a few new ones up to each brand, and let's clearly define divisions. That's what we've done. We got a huge big man scene on the main event of Raw, and then you got the high flyers, the smaller wrestlers on Smackdown, of course, with the additions of people like Pete Dunne. It's just huge. But let me know your thoughts and who you would put on both Raw and Smackdown in the comments section down below. Like the video, share the video. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Peace!